Hello and welcome back to the Slaughter, everybody. Welcome back to Killing Floor 3, where today we're going to be taking a look at Firebug and just kind of their weapons, their skills, and kind of how they work and everything. For Firebug starting weapons, we have this one, which is called the IR-50 Brimstone. This is the starting weapon. This does 150 damage. This is damage over time as well, thanks to Firebug just burning stuff like they usually do. This is like a flare launcher, it seems like. It says it's a submachine gun. Doesn't really feel like a submachine gun, though. It feels more like a flare gun. Holds 15 rounds and has 375 capacity. So this one's pretty interesting. It's got okay iron sights. They're not my favorite. This does have travel time, so you have to be kind of leading your shot a little bit. And as you can see, it does start fires on the floor, which is pretty good. This one is either full auto or semi-auto. You can actually shoot them about as quick as one another, I've noticed. So 15 rounds doesn't go super far, but you can put extra extended things on this like you can with all the equipment.
Reloading.
This one is actually kind of decent. I don't mind it. It's okay. It's a little bit bulky, which is a little bit weird, but it's a decent overall weapon. And once again, if you wanted to, you could upgrade this with different things, different schematics, different barrels, various ammunitions in here, which Firebug's got some interesting ones. I haven't really tried all these, like the white phosphorus rounds or the nanothermite rounds. They sound pretty interesting, or you could take things like a drone magazine to increase its overall mag size, which I imagine would also be pretty nice. The secondary for Firebug is actually this, the Pyre 357 revolver, and it is just straight up a big iron. It feels quite good. It has long range. It does high damage. This one does 210 damage, which is a lot for a secondary weapon. That is pretty substantial. Holds 6 rounds in it, as you would kind of expect, and holds 180 rounds in capacity. The revolver can also be upgraded in several different ways as well, where you can load in different ammunitions to it. Like you can have incendiary rounds in this. I really like that. You can put different sights on this if you'd like, once you unlock these things. Different upgrades to them. And this one is actually a pretty solid secondary. This is one of my favorite secondaries that was added in this. Probably not my favorite, but my favorite is probably Sharpshooters. Sharpshooter's revolver is even cooler than this one. This one is pretty good. It does have some weird animations, like the gun opening up entirely. I don't know why that is, like this. Either way, I mean, some other animations are a lot better. For a grenade, you can imagine, it's Molotovs. You throw it out, it burns stuff. Pretty straightforward, nothing crazy there. The gadget that Firebug gets is a little bit strange. This one is a lure. If you play Deep Rock, then you'll know kind of how this one works. You throw it out and it causes enemies to go towards that. It also causes enemies to get confused and start attacking one another when they're inside of it too. So you want to mostly be using this to confuse bigger enemies or large groups of enemies and then throw a bunch of fire on them. And you can do a lot of damage that way. Their first weapon that you can buy, well, I mean, you can buy another Brimstone if you would like. You can actually take multiple of the same weapon if you want. But their first option is the Dragon's Breath. And the Dragon's Breath is a bit different this time around. It's not a trench gun, which is a little bit sad. It's got some pretty good animations to it, though. So this one is a pump action shotgun. This one, again, has pretty, well, it looks like it has pretty widespread. The spread isn't as bad. It's much more manageable if you're ADSing as well. And it's got this kind of weird, like, double recoil. And I think that's because it's actually technically a under and over double barrel shotgun that they have that's firing out 2 shells each time, but it only counts as using 1. So its secondary fire is actually firing out both those barrels immediately. And it does show it as being more accurate. I don't think that that's accurate. I think that the crosshairs might be mixed up between the two of these right now, because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me to have it like this. You can put in like slugs or electric slugs and enfeebling slugs, white phosphorus shells. There's actually a lot of different shells you can put into this, and this one felt quite good to me. It's felt pretty decent overall, and it's been a pretty decent option for Firebug right now. And as you can see, it does a lot of damage. I imagine this is all the pellets hitting though, where it's 600 damage if all pellets make contact. And the secondary damage is 1200 because you're firing out 2 shells. Then we have the Incinerator M7. This one is pretty much exactly what you think it's going to be. So the Incinerator is the Flamethrower. It's just the Flamethrower. There's nothing else to it. It's got good range. It's good for killing small enemies. It leaves floor fires. It's going to be useful for just killing off small stuff. It's basically the same as it was in Killing Floor 2. Nothing really has changed about this. It also doesn't have any secondary fire. It is just the Flamethrower and nothing more. So our last option is called this, which is the Vulcan TA. I don't know what the TA stands for, but either way, this one is pretty much the Husk Cannon from Killing Floor 2. So you can charge it up and you can see how much you're being charged thanks to that icon there. And then you can release this, and it's just a big old fire shot that does a lot of damage. It also seems to do explosive damage because it kills Scrakes or Fleshbounds really quick. Secondary fire on this is another Flamethrower. I haven't really noticed if this one is better or worse than the regular Flamethrower that we were just using. It feels pretty similar to that. So, just depends on what you like, depends on what you're going for. I think that this one is a little bit better, and usually I just end up having like either this and the Dragon's Breath or 2 of these. Well, let's go over the passives, then we'll go over throwables and gadgets. So each of these you level up like normal. So every time you hit these levels, you can pick between one of these 2 options or one of these 3 options, or if you only get the one, you get the 1 option there. And then you can also level these up the more you play the character. That is these performance points. You'll just get that as you're just leveling them up more. So first up, Firewall. Take less damage from burning enemies. You burn enemies, they hit you for less. That one's good. Then we got Too Hot to Handle. This makes it so if you get hit, then you'll burn enemies back. This can be pretty good for small enemies. I doubt it's going to be all that useful for big enemies. And I don't know how much I would use that, but we'd have to see. Maybe there's a way to abuse it. I'm not entirely certain. At level 8, we've got Heat Exposure, which makes it so weapons apply burn and burn enemies more, so that's good. Then we've got Focus Fire, deal 10% more direct damage with weapon damage. Anytime that you see the thing highlighted in blue, that's also the percentage that will be going up every time you level it up. Usually it's like by 5 or by 10, just depends on the thing. So, Focus Fire seems like it's going to be useful if you just want to direct hit stuff. Scorched Earth, Ground Fire does more damage. That one's probably going to be really strong with Firebug. Especially since you can get it so early on. I haven't played too much with Firebug. I think I've played them for like 2 or 3 rounds. And yeah, they're already level 6, so that one would probably be the one that I'd be going for. After that, we've got Fuel to Burn. Maximum ammo increased by 50%. Great, that one's going to be useful. We got Slow Cook. Ground fire effects caused by weapons are 15% bigger. And enable the Enfeeble status effect. So, Enfeeble is similar to like the Hemogoblin's Bleed from Killing Floor 2, where it slows them down and they do less damage when they would hit you. They also seem to attack a little bit slower too, so Enfeebled can actually be pretty good. Then we've got Red Zone. Killing an enemy nearby gives you Red Zone stacks. At 5 stacks, all stacks are consumed and you repair your armor integrity by 3. So you just get more health the more things that you're killing, or more survivability the more things you're killing, which is pretty good because armor also scales in this, so you can get like tier 1 armor all the way up to tier 4 armor. See, we got Hotfoot. Ground fire effects cause weapons to heal you for 2 per second while you're standing in them. That's going to be nice. Throw a Molotov at your feet, clear off everything, heal yourself from it. That's going to be good for Firebug. Firebug actually has a decent amount of survivability this time around. Then we've got Extinguisher. Let's see. Weapon reload speed is increased by 10%. Reloading weapon damages nearby enemies, causing them to panic and dealing burn damage. That's probably going to be good. It's just more crowd control for Firebug. Firebug loves crowd control, so that's nice. Barbecue Bash. Bash damage is increased by 100%, and then this bonus doubles it to burning enemies. Okay, melee Firebug, if things get right up in your face, might be useful. I don't know. With all your other healing, this actually might not be that bad to be using, so it could actually be kind of useful. Then we have Explosive Reaction. Killing an enemy with a heat weapon causes them to explode and deal damage to everything around them, and ground fire around them. That's probably going to be really strong too. More crowd control on top of your already really high crowd control. Throwables are usually the most straightforward tier, or at least the most forward tree here we got. So Cocktail Party, ground fires from Molotovs apply panic, enemies might run away from you. We've got Burnouts, increase the blast radius of Molotovs. Then we also got Firecracker, hitting something directly deals more damage to it. Pretty straightforward there. This one is just increased grenade, so you get another grenade. I think this is the same for everybody. Then we've got Extended Edition. Ground fires last longer. That's going to be good. Molotov's explosive damage is increased by 100%. Again, if you want to throw this directly at something, kind of use it as like dynamite from Killing Floor 2. That's probably what this one's going to do. More ammo, always a good option. Then we've got Asphyxiate. Molotov ground fire applies more Enfeeble. Good, you weaken enemies, you slow them down. They just can't do as much. That one's going to be really nice. Hot Mess, Molotov's secondary projectile explodes when they land, dealing more heat damage and spawning additional fires. So, yeah, you just are having more fire in the area. So if you want to kill more crowds, that one's probably going to be pretty good. And then we also got Up in Flames, increase the number of secondary Molotovs that the projectiles spawn by 3. So you throw it out, it explodes, has even more fire that spreads even further. For your gadget is where you just go out and explode like this, where it deals damage to everything around it. This is just, you get more damage the closer things are. Then we've got Ready for Action. This makes it so your weapon reloads immediately after you explode, and you do more weapon damage for the next 10 seconds. And then we've got Heat Therapy. You use this and you heal yourself. That one is really, really good. I've really been enjoying that one so far. Ground Fire created by the Wildfire have 25% increased radius and deal more damage. Okay, pretty straightforward there. We've also got Speedy Exit. Whenever you use that, you get increased movement speed. That one's probably going to be pretty good. I do kind of like that. Both those sound pretty good, though. Triple Ray. You send out 3 cones of fireballs in every direction. Fireballs apply burn, and they can panic, so you just get ranged attacks on your explosion already. That one's going to be nice. Red Carpet. This one makes it so ground fires created by wildfire last for 3 additional seconds. Cool, you get more damage over time. As well as if you stand and you get more heat on your weapon, so you can light more things on fire. In the public eye, firing the wildfire causes all nearby enemies to concentrate you and cause you to take reduced damage. If you want to be a tanky Firebug and you want to go with healing, I imagine that one's going to be good, as well as you could probably do that, throw a Molotov at your feet, be standing in the, what is it, the other one that heals you over time. I imagine there's going to be quite a few interesting builds that you can do with Firebug here. Then we got Hot Streak. Killing nearby enemies grants you 4 gadget activation energy. This is just your ult, basically, so being able to light things on fire. Killing more enemies makes it so you can use your ult more often, which means you can potentially heal yourself more often, or take reduced damage, or just knock enemies away. As well as when you're in that animation, you are invulnerable from basically everything. Then we have Blast Zone. Increase the radius. Pretty straightforward. Probably going to be pretty strong. Double feature. I imagine this is you can explode twice. Yep. Second wave deals less damage, or I guess both waves deal less damage. Yeah, flammable material. When using wildfire causes you to ignite for 8 seconds, so you light yourself on fire and you get more damage. I'm going to love that one. I'm probably going to use it a lot. If I can light myself on fire and get added benefits from it, I'm probably going to do it. Then we got From the Ashes. Once per match, when you're downed, you can activate wildfire and pick yourself back up. You also repair some of your armor when you do it, and you're invulnerable for 4 seconds. That's pretty good. You can be picked up in this game, as opposed to like in Killing Floor 2, when if you're down, you're dead. In this one, teammates can pick you up, unless you have this ability, in which case then you can pick yourself up, so that's pretty good. Yeah, Firebug seems like they're going to be really, really strong overall, and I kind of want to see how they play when they're fully maxed out, because I think like Tank Firebug is going to be fun. But then I can imagine like just all AoE Firebug being super fun, especially in a pretty competent team, and you just clear up all the small things. Either way, this has been an overview of Firebug in Killing Floor 3. Tell me your thoughts on this. How are you enjoying this? What are you looking forward to, and what builds are you looking most forward to playing? Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody!